Okay, so now we are starting with how to find the solution of the integral equation. But now we are going for successive approximations. So you approximate the solution. So in this case, you may not get the exact solution, the real solution, but somehow you will get the approximate solution for your integral equation, right? So there are different ways, different methods that we will see. So let me write this method of successive approximation. So we will see what are these methods modified in some examples, not many examples, one two examples. So in this case, you consider the integral equation y of x is equals to fx plus lambda integral a to b k xt yt dt, your equation number 1. Now as we have seen last time, we have assumed last time that lambda is a real number. Now in this case we may take its real or complex, no problem. So where this lambda belongs to R or C, this f and kernel k are L2 functions. Now you check what is the meaning of k belongs to L2 means what. Let me write this. K belongs to L2 means, I told you in the last minute to find it out, k is a function of two variables. So what is the meaning of k? K is a L2 function. L2 means square integrable functions. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So check what is the meaning of f. This f is a function of single variable. So you know what is the meaning of f belongs to L2. That is, it's a square integrable function. But in this case, your k is a function of two variables. So check the respective definitions and what is the implication. Right? Now let us approximate this. Approximate means you are finding the solution which will converge to this limit. When you take the limit of that approximations, it should converge to the solution. So let y0 of x denote the zeroth approximation. You take this y0 of x as your zeroth approximation. Let me add that also to the solution y of x of equation 1. Now you approximate, that means you first take what is y0. So in this case, let me hide this. Yeah. So for that you take y0 of x is equals to fx. So your zeroth approximation for the solution is your this function f. Clear? Now for the next approximation, that is the first approximation, you take the first approximation. So your zeroth approximation use a function f. The first approximation to the solution y of x is given by y1. y1 is the first approximation, y2 is the second approximation, like that. So this is given by, check this, fx plus lambda integral a to b e xt, your zeroth approximation y0 of t dt. So your first approximation depends on your zeroth approximation. Likewise, your next second approximation will depend on your first approximation, and so on. Now in this case, I can put what is y0. Y0 is nothing but f. So fx plus lambda integral a to b k xt. So y0 is your zeroth approximation, and that we have assumed, or we have taken as fx. This is your zeroth approximation. Alright, so ft dt. Now go for the next. The second approximation is given by, the second will be y2 of x, and definitely it will depend on y1 of x. So it is same as fx plus lambda integral a to b k xt y1t dt. Consider this as equation number 2. Right? Now if you continue this way, continuing this, we get your zeroth approximation y0 of x to be fx, and your mth approximation ym of x will be fx plus lambda integral a to b k xt, and here you will have y, the previous one, m minus 1 of t dt. So you take these two equations, that is your approximations, as say star. Now you can go, or you can continue like this. We can find m plus 1, m plus 2, and so on. And when you take the limit of this, if it converges, then that will be the solution. So if limit, what I have taken, ym, if limit m tends to infinity, ym of x is equals to, suppose something, let me use y tilde of x, then y tilde of x will satisfy given equation 1. And when you say that y tilde of x will satisfy equation 1, that means this will be your required solution. Since you are taking the limit, you may not get the exact value, but you will get the approximate value, and thus we have defined the sequence let me write this way: ym of x of approximations But remember, your zeroth approximation is your f approximations, or you can say, let me write this way. Thus, we have defined the sequence ym of x of, say, what should I say? Approximate solutions, we can say. Approximate solutions of equation 1. So these are the approximation, and when you take the limit, you will have, which will tend to the exact solution of equation 1. So understand what we have done here. We have taken your zeroth approximation to be y0 of x, that is your fx. Then you have defined your first approximation y1, which will depend on y0. Then you define your second approximation y2, that will depend on your y1. Continuing like that, we will get the mth approximation, and that will depend on m-1. m-1 will depend on m-2. So your mth approximation definitely will depend on your zeroth approximation, right? So I have marked equation 2, yes. So you take this equation 2 now. From equation 2, let me write the equation number 2. y2 of x is equals to fx plus lambda integral a to b kxt y1t dt. But you know what is y1? Y1 is the first approximation, and that is given by equation. I have not written the equation. This. So you can substitute for y of t. So that will be fx as it is plus lambda integral. Am I audible? I'm lost. Yes, someone? So we have this. So this is what I was talking about. So from equation 2, you have y2 of x. I have written the same equation again. Fx plus lambda integral from a to b kxt y1t dt. Then you substitute for y1. Your y1 is f plus lambda integral from a to b kxt ft dt. So you substitute for that, but be careful now with your variables, because in this case your variable is a variable of integration is t, and again your y1 is a function of t. So be careful there. So I can write this as lambda from a to b k xt, and then y1 of t means it will be f of t plus lambda integral a to b k t. Now use some other variable, say ktu fu du, and then dt. We want the expression for y1 of t, and what you had was the expression for y1 of x. So accordingly you change your variables. Be careful over there. Now you open the brackets over here for this integral, split the integral, and check what you will get. Fx plus lambda integral a to b k xt when you open the bracket, it is ft and then dt plus this lambda into lambda square integral a to b k x comma t, then this integral a to b k t comma u fu du, then this dt, right? So you can change the order of integration over here. Let me write this here and then write what it is. So this is fx plus, you keep this like this, lambda integral from a to b k1 x comma t ft dt k1 plus this lambda square integral a to b, will use k2 x comma t ft dt. Now what you do is, for this you change the order and check what are the effects over there and you will get this. So I'll write here for your information, by changing order of integration. Directly you can't change the order of integration. There are some rules which you have to follow for that, right? And in this case, since we have used this k1 k2, let me write what is k1 and k2, where k1 of x or x comma t is equals to kx comma t. We have not done anything there. So for the second integral fx plus lambda integral, we have taken the same integral, so we have written this k1 as k, and this k2 of x or k2 of x comma t is your second integral, and for that we have combined or plotted these two what should I say, kernels, kx comma t and kt comma u. So integral a to b k x comma u, then k1 u comma t du. So for this you change the order of integration, rearrange them, and then one integral you denote it by k2 of x. This f function you already kept over there, so be careful there, right? Now this is your y2 is f, then k1, and then again there is something called as k2. If you go for y3, let y3 of x is equals to fx plus lambda integral a to b k x comma t y2 of t dt. Again you replace, you have the expression for y2, you have this expression for y2, so in place of y2 you put this expression, but again be careful with your variables. So this is equals to, let me write directly here, fx plus lambda integral a to b k x comma t ft dt plus lambda square a to b k2 x comma t ft dt plus again there is lambda square, and again you are multiplying lambda, this lambda square, and again for this lambda will be there. So lambda cube, third term, integral a to b k3 of x comma t f t dt. Again you write here where k1 you know this is k1, k is nothing but k1, k2 you know this is what is your k2. Now only unknown is k3, so where you denote this k3 of x comma t as integral a to b k x comma u k2 u comma t du. So the variable of integration is your u. So when you integrate it, this u term will go, and the remaining thing whatever you have will be the function of x and t. So right hand side and left hand side are the functions of x and t. So if you continue like this with your ki's or kn's, we will have in general your ym of x will be equals to your fx is there. If you compare that y1 y2 y3, your fx is there, and then you have for y2 you have two integrals. So for y2 you have two integrals, for y3 you have three integrals. Then the powers of lambda goes on increasing for both. So lambda raised to 1, lambda raised to 2, lambda raised to 3, and then you have k1, for 2 you have k2, then for 3 you have k3, and so on. So for that we can write in general ym of x is equals to fx plus summation I from 1 to, you have 3 here and then 3 here. For y3 of x you have lambda cube, so 1 to m lambda raised to m, not m, it should be lambda raised to these variables I, and then you have these integrals a to b ai of x comma t ft dt. So for y2 you have two integrals, for y3 you have three integrals, for y10 you will have 10 integrals. So again, since we have written in general, let me write where this ki x comma t will be integral a to b k x comma u, k3 is k x comma u, k2 is k x comma u, k1. So ki will be k of x comma u into k I minus 1 of u comma t du, and this you can always write as both the things you can work with slight changes and all. A to b k I minus 1 of x comma u k of u comma t du. This you check, right? This you check whether you can write this expression as this expression by changing the variable of integration and change the order of integration. That kind of things you have to apply for, right? Now in this case you have this ki x comma t. This is called iterated kernel. So k1 is the first kernel, k2 is the second iterated kernel, ki is called the ith iterated kernel. And with this kernels and all, we can write, we have these yms. So when you take m tends to infinity, this ym will, if it converges, that's what we have written. If limit of ym converges to some y function, then you have the solution which we have approximated. Now in this case, if you take the limit of this ym and if it converges, then you have the solution, right? So but when you write this, when you write limit m tends to infinity ym, this fx is constant, so there is no worry here, limit will be same. When you take the limit, it will be summation m tends to infinity, so summation I from 1 to infinity. So fx is not equal here, fx plus summation I from 1 to infinity, you are taking the limit here, then lambda raised to I is there, integral a to b ki x comma t ft dt. Now in this case, your problem now reduces to say or to prove that this series converges. So for that, you should know what is the convergence and divergence of the series, sequences, and those kind of things. Now this series is called, let me write, this series is called Newman series. NEU, Newman's series. So if you can prove that this series converges, then you can show that the limit of the sequence, the sequence is convergent, and then you can show that that is the solution. That means the sequence of this approximation will converge to your solution. Clear? So the question is whether this Newman series converges or not. Now for that, let me write convergence of Newman series. You have to check the convergence of this Newman series. Now, how you will show that this Newman series converges? That means you have to show that the summation I from 1 to infinity lambda raised to I integral a to b ki of x comma t f dt is a convergent series. And I guess I can leave this as exercise. Prove that the Newman series converges. Yeah? Any problem? There is something called as convergence of what can I say? If you remember Weierstrass test, there is something called as Weierstrass M test. There is something called as MN test for the convergence of sequences, series. That theory you should know, and then only we can proceed. Clear? Any problem?
No, sir. So problem is with yesterday's question. When should I ask that, sir?
Which question? Which question of yesterday? I don't remember.
So approximate method. That example which we had solved.
What happened to that?
So what will be the next steps after finding that system?
You have to find the solution of that system.
That is that C1, C2 and all.
Yes, C1, C2, C3. It's as good as what you have done previously.
Okay, sir. And so when you said find yx equal to 1 is the solution of that integral equation.
This one, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to solve this system. So after solving the system, these are the values. Are you getting these values? C1 is minus 0.5010, C2 is minus 0.1671, and C3 is minus 0.0422. So once we have these two, the values of CIs, you can take these values and substitute in your equation. So I don't remember the equation numbers. This equation, y of x is equals to e raised to x minus that whole bracket. So there is C1, C2, C3. So whatever values you got after solving, after calculating, you substitute in that. So this is your required solution. But again, this is the approximate solution, not the exact solution. Alright. Now here, if you remember, we have truncated the series. We have not taken all the terms of the series. Rather, we have taken only first two three terms. So you'll have an approximate solution. So this is just extra work I have given you. I told you to check what is y at 0. So you put x equals to 0 in your y function, find the value. Then you find what is y at 0.5, you can find what is y at 1. And then this is the extra question I told you. You check whether y of x is equals to 1 is the solution of this equation or not. Alright? Clear?
So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
with the choice of B1, B2, B3, we will get different system.
B1, B2, B3. Where is B1?
Yeah.
एक minute. Okay, this one you are saying. So if you change your, see, this is the addition of three functions. So I can write this last function as the first one. So I can write x raised to 4 t cube upon 6 plus x cube t square by 2 plus I can write this first term last one here. So accordingly your values of AIs and the values of BIs will change. So if your AIs and BIs value changes, then definitely your AIJs will change. Right? So if one is solving, they may take B1 as B3. So in that case, your this value of AIJ will change. And definitely,
AIJ remains same.
how come?
Because there's BI and AJ. I don't know. I'm getting same.
Maybe because of this problem you may get. In this problem you may get, but other problems you may not get.
So, but then I'm getting different system only.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You will get the different system because here again FIs. This FI also depends on BI. This constant CIs also depends on BI. So from this system, if you change this AIJs and BIJs, the functions AIJs and BIJs, you will get a different system. And based on that system, based on that you will get these FIs, AIJs. Based on that you are writing the system, then you will get the system here, and then you will get the solution. That is not a big problem. That is accepted.
So, but then, so why we are finding that FI?
Why you are finding?
FI.
Because this system is non-homogeneous.
Okay.
In this case, your system is non-homogeneous. I don't know now where it is.
Values 2 by 3.
I don't know where it is now. I have to search. Wait. We have discussed two problems. One was homogeneous system and one was non-homogeneous system. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So for homogeneous system, we had the homogeneous system of equation. For homogeneous integral equation, we had a homogeneous system of equation, and for non-homogeneous system, I mean integral equation, you had non-homogeneous system, wherein you have written these fi's. I don't know where it is. Yes, here. Where it is. This system, equation number 7. So when you see the equation number 7, you have Ci minus lambda summation Aij Cj is equals to Fi. So if you are not finding Fi, that means your system is wrong. And again, you don't have to go for the system, you have to start from the beginning. How you got this equation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You have to start from the scratch. You are not supposed to assume that Aij is nothing but Bit Ajt. You have to start from the scratch. Yeah. So let me see what we have done today. Okay, so the question is whether your Newman series converges or not, and I'm leaving this as an exercise for you to check whether it converges or not. It converges, and for that, I don't know whether I can do it for exercise or not. Okay, I'll leave this as an exercise. Tomorrow you see whether if you're getting. If you're not getting, then I'll see some hints I can give, and I can state the theorem. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
You try to get the proof. Proof will be there on MD Rising in here. It will be there on Ram Kanwal. Try to understand that proof. Then we can discuss. Alright.
Okay, sir.
Before proof, I cannot state the theorem. What should I state? That will not make sense. That will not make any sense. Now, if you try it, tomorrow we will see.